My name is Tom, and I'm an owner and operator for Mr. Steam. Today I want to talk about my journey over the past 2 years, how I got to where I am, how I started from making $72 a day cleaning cars to now making over $1,300 a day with my own business, using my own schedule, using my own materials, my own vehicles. And I want to talk about how you can also get started as an entrepreneur and hopefully cut down some of the stress you may be having thinking about starting your own carpet cleaning business or franchise. So starting off, I want to give a bit of a backstory of how I got started. I used to clean cars for $18 per car for another company. And during those days where we would get $18 per car, it would it would always take us between 2 to 2.5 hours to go through a full car. So by then we were looking at maybe $9 an hour if we were lucky, not much compared to now. And back then it was usually about $72 a day I was making, maybe $100 if I was lucky, if there was enough tips. But I would say about $75 to $100 or so was the average day. And that was back in 2018. I was in my grade 11 and 12 year that I started doing that. And back then I was always very particular about my money and how I spent it. So over the course of high school, I made, I think it was around $4,000 or $5,000. And all that money I had saved, I had put it into my savings account to sit. The year after I graduated high school, I started doing Skip the Dishes. It's a food delivery app. It's the same thing as Uber Eats, same thing as DoorDash. It's just a Canadian version of it. But so I started doing that, and then I was browsing Kijiji, which is basically a Canadian version of Craigslist. I was browsing there, just looking through things, looking through businesses, because it always piqued my interest. And then I stumbled upon Bryce's ad to start your own carpet cleaning business in Edmonton, which is Edmonton, which is close to where I'm from. It's about 15-20 minutes from where I am now. So I thought it would be a good idea. So I messaged him on Kijiji, because I had prior experience steam cleaning when I was doing my car detailing. So I thought might as well give it a try. So then I messaged Bryce, I called him. I have a picture somewhere too. I'll see if I can throw it in the video of when we first met up. But we had a Zoom meeting. I asked him some questions. We arranged a time where we could meet up. And then I drove about 3 to 3.5 hours to go meet him. I followed him on, I think it was two of his steam cleaning jobs. We did some carpets and a couch. There was always one quote that stuck out to me when me and Bryce were talking. And that was when I had just cleaned a single stair of a staircase. And he told me, congratulations, you just made $4. And I remember it took me about 5 seconds or so to do something like that. And since then I was hooked. I was hooked on the idea of not being defined by someone else's schedule or being paid through an hourly wage. I enjoyed the idea of having complete control over how I can make money. So we finished up the day, finished up the jobs, and then I headed back home after the day. We kept talking for maybe a month or so, maybe a couple weeks. And then I decided to come back to meet him. And we stopped at a carpet cleaning warehouse where I picked up my very first machine. It was the E600. We'll put another photo in here. And that E600 I could fit in the gray Civic that's sitting outside. And that's how I made my first dollar working for myself. Because as soon as I got the equipment and materials, I headed back. We got a website started up. We put out some ads on Facebook Marketplace. They were for free. It's just couch cleaning. I used some pictures that Bryce gave. And then I booked a person. I remember my first job was a complete disaster because I booked them, I think it was $54 or $55 from what I remember. Because they just wanted me to do one single cushion. Looking back at that was a mistake because especially in steam cleaning, you always want to clean the entire couch at once, or chair, or whatever it is, a mattress, so you don't get water stains. But anyways, I did $55 worth of work, got water stains on my first job. I remember it was a bit of a disaster, but it got my foot in the door. It was the first dollar I made all by myself, and I was really proud of it. So I went back, I cleaned up, finished up that couch. I went back for a second time to get it all sorted out. And from there, I kept booking people through Facebook, kept booking couch cleanings. And for the next 3 months, 4 months, that's pretty much what I did for the most part. Now, I also did start my second year of university in September. So as soon as university hit, it was pretty hard to book and consistently work jobs. So what I did for the most part was work weekends as well as evenings after school. It was pretty hard to balance everything. I'm in nursing school, so it's pretty busy as it is. It was pretty hard to balance the workload with starting the business. But luckily, since it was just starting up, I had a lot of time and I wasn't relying on anything for work. I still had some money saved up after I bought my materials. I kept working throughout the winter. And I think it was about July, or maybe it was May of 2022. That's when I picked up my first big carpet cleaning machine, which is the one sitting here behind me. I spent about $3,000, I think, for a brand new unit. But by that time, I think I had made maybe $5,000 total since I started in September, because I officially started September 4th, 2021. So it was a few months later, picked up the carpet machine, and then it was another learning curve to get started cleaning carpets. So what I did for that was that same Honda Civic. Instead of putting the machine on the seat, I took the front passenger seat out completely, laid the machine in sideways, and that's when I started doing carpets from there. I used the same Facebook marketplace posts I did for couches, except I was starting to do them for carpets, and I would slowly start picking up jobs on the weekends and in the evenings as I was doing with couches. It was around that time too that I got the sign magnets for the Civic that you saw earlier. Those did absolutely nothing, and looking back is really embarrassing. But I think it was a good learning experience. Going back, if I would get the car magnets again, probably not. I think if I restarted, I would just stick to the Civic, keep the magnets off, because I had a feeling maybe it was hurting business more than helping it. Just because when I was on like advertising through Facebook, people didn't see the company name or anything like that. They just saw my personal profile. I feel like I was hurting the business because the Civic was nothing to be impressed about, especially with the signs. It was a small business, blah, blah, blah. But what I would start to do was, while I was driving the Civic to jobs, I would just park a bit down the street away from people's houses for the most part. And then I would go in, do the cleaning, let my work speak for itself. And because of that, that's when I started getting Google reviews especially. And I was starting to get a lot more referrals to people. A lot more people were calling me saying, hey, you cleaned my sister, you cleaned my friend's house. Would you mind coming by cleaning mine? And word of mouth was a big thing when I was getting started. And as soon as the Google ads started picking up, that was when I started picking up more business. And then when April hit of May 2022, that was my first unhindered summer of working. That was big because I made a lot of money that year, or that summer, in those 4 months I had off. I think it was around $35,000 or so. So it was a massive step up from making $100 a day, because now I was making close to $600, maybe $1,000 a day some days. I was making, I think it was about $5,500 a month, which isn't bad. And that summer, I got my first commercial contract, and it was for Louis Vuitton. They had sent an email. They were bidding around for which company would do it the cheapest, and I remember showing up to the mall where they were at after hours, and it was just me and my little machine behind me and my backpack of materials, and it took me about three and a half hours or so to clean up all their rugs and couches. But by the end of that 3 hours, I had made $730. Before that evening where I went to go work, I still worked a full day before that. I had 3 jobs. They were all around $200 or so. So that was about $600 during the day. And then in the evening it was $730, whatever it was, dollars. But that was the first day I made over $1,000, and I made $1,327 total. And that day was something I'll always remember, because it's one thing to start your own business and go through the journey of everything, but when you start seeing those numbers where you're pulling like well over $1,000 a day, it makes everything worth it. It was a big step, and all that money that I was starting to make that summer, I was funneling right back into the business. I was picking up more materials, more machines. I was getting Square terminals to do my invoices and payments through. It was really picking up. And then after the summer ended again, I was back into university again for another year. So at that time, again, I had to stop advertising, started putting school first. I would go back to working on weekends or in the evenings if I had the time. And I honestly didn't make a lot of money during those winter months, not because I couldn't, like advertising wise, it was because I just didn't have time to do everything. But I was making probably around $1,000 to $2,000 a month, or it was probably closer to $1,000 a month. But it was enough to cover my business license. It was enough to cover my business insurance. So my business license was about, I think, $150 a year, and my insurance was about $750 a year. So when I would work throughout those winters, it would be to cover the insurance, cover the registration, things like that, tie me over till the next summer hit, which is what I kept doing. I just played it pretty quiet throughout the 22 winter. And then through the winter of 2023, when that rolled around, I was starting to, that was this past summer, so I was starting to prepare for what I wanted to do this year. And I decided it would be the right time to get a work van, which is the blue van sitting outside right now. That van I paid for in straight cash from jobs I had done. During jobs, people usually either pay me transfer through the card machine or cash. And that cash I had been saving up for a year and a half, from when people paid cash jobs. And I went to go look at it one day, and there was about $8,000 sitting there. So I thought now would be the time to get a van. Now would be the time to take the next step in the journey. So that's exactly what I did. And in May, I bought the van for $9,000. It was a 2008 Ford Econoline E250. It's fully insulated, but I still bring in materials inside over the winter just so they don't freeze. I got that van for $9,000, got the registration and everything for it. And then the decals on the outside, I actually installed myself. I have some pictures of that too. I can show the pictures of the process. But when I was installing that van wrap, I paid about $750 for the vinyls, and then I installed them myself. And so far they've been really good. I also did clear coat on the outside of them so they stick a bit better. But those have been going well so far. I also did pick up another one of these blue machines. I picked up 1,000 PSI version, so I could start on tile and grout cleaning. That's there. Since then, I've taken it off the website. I hate doing floor and tile and grout. It's not as easy as carpets and couches, and I have more than enough business doing carpets and couches and even vehicle detailing in the summers that I don't really need to do tile and grout anymore. So probably looking to sell those materials. So if you're going to start your own thing, something to keep in mind. I personally didn't like it. Maybe you'll like it though. But right now I'm just doing carpets, couches, and auto detailing. Anyways, I still have another machine here. With this machine though, the 1,000 PSI, another good thing other than doing like tile and hard floor is that you can you can run 50-foot hoses through the machine. It has enough pressure and power to reach 50 feet of length. So as soon as I got the 50-foot hoses, I started speeding up my process a little bit, because instead of carrying the smaller machine up and down the stairs, I can just plant this one on the main floor. It's a lot heavier, so you don't really want to be lifting this one up and down staircases. But if I have a townhouse, which I have often, I can put this machine on the main floor, and then I can run hoses up and down to the basement and not have to worry about running out of any length for hoses. So it's a real step up. It saved me a lot of time from having to move materials throughout the house. So got that finished up, took tile and grout off of the website because I don't want to do them anymore. But in the meantime, I have just been doing carpets and couches since then. This past August, I made $6,000 by myself, which is really nice considering I worked only 22 or 21 days in all of August. I love spending time outdoors, so I'm always fishing or working on the project car behind me here. But those days I did spend cleaning, it was averaging a lot higher than $100 a day was. So it's been a great process since then. I've been picking up smaller things like business cards. I've been trying out new chemicals, new spray bottles, just little things, new brushes. But to get started, like I did on my journey, all you really need is one machine, 25 feet of water hose, 25 foot of vacuum hose, a backpack to spray down your pre-spray, and you can get started. You can get started on Facebook for free. When I first started, I didn't even have any insurance or registration. So that was maybe only for about the first month or month and a half. But after I started picking up enough money and seeing that this was a viable business, something I actually want to put more money into, that's when I started to get insurance and registration. And ever since then, I haven't looked back. I haven't had a normal job since then. I've still been doing good in school, and I've been balancing both in the meantime. But those summers, especially this past summer, I think I've made like $35,000 or $40,000. And that was maybe 4.5 months or so. I do have a friend now I do have a friend now that'll work the winters for me. He's just running the van. Now that I have my regular Civic back to get to school, he's running the vans for winters. We have a 50-50 partnership set up. So he gets 50% of all revenue. He's happy, I'm happy. If he works $600 worth in a day, he keeps $300, I keep $300, everyone's happy. Still great money considering all I have to do is book and schedule people. But that's been a little bit of my journey so far. I'm still pretty young. It's only been 2 years or so since September 4th. It's been just over 2 years since I started Mr. Steam out of the Honda Civic. So we've come a long way. It's been great with how much money I've been able to make and the things I've learned with starting a business, running a business, taxes, business write-offs. It's all valuable information that I truly enjoy. I remember the first summer, I started buying a lot of stupid things. I bought 2 dirt bikes and then I bought a motorcycle. I bought 2 project cars, this one and another one. I sold the other project car, sold all the dirt bikes and motorcycles, just 'cause it's toys, and I realized it's not something I need or enjoy, because it's a lot of stress taking care of those things. But it was a lot different when I started just making $100 a day, if that. When you're starting to pull over $1,000 a day on some days, I've never had that much money before, so I started buying a lot of stupid things. But since then, I've realized I've started kind of refocusing myself, getting back on track to what's important, reinvesting back into the business. I just bought a bigger terminal yesterday where I can take receipts and payment from. It's a lot more professional. Happy with that purchase. Now, me and Bryce, in the meantime, have been talking a lot lately. It's been nice. We've started on this YouTube channel. We've started on other social media, such as TikTok and Instagram. Before I go, I want to give you guys a bit of motivation to start. If you are thinking about starting your own carpet cleaning, steam cleaning business, whatever it is, whether it's through Mr. Steam or not, or even if it's another business such as pressure washing, or just solely auto detailing, window cleaning, they're all in the kind of the same category. But the first thing you can do is just dip your toes in the water, get started. The rest will kind of fall in place as you start to learn and start to grow. Or when I first started, I put about $3,000 in of the $5,000 I had saved. So it's pretty scary for me at the time, because $3,000 was a lot of money. It was like a whole summer of work, maybe. But that initial $3,000 I put in, right up until school started in that 2021 summer year, in that 2021 summer year, I had made enough money to pay off all of the money I'd put in. I had paid off all the equipment after just 1 month. So it was the right choice, in my opinion. My parents were a little more skeptical starting out. I mean, that's fair too, because when you're spending your whole summer making money and then you just dump it in one day into a steam cleaning business where you have no idea what you're doing or how to get started, it's kind of scary. But I did it. I'm still in school. I still have a life. I still go outside. And since then, I've been slowly building. And I think I'd like to see more people my age. Like, I'm 21 now. I started when I was 19. I like to see people get started. I love the process of starting businesses, and I'm sure there's lots of people out there who are the same. Or there's people out there who are tired of working for someone else. They want to make money themselves. They want to schedule themselves. They want to work whenever they want to work, not under the supervision of some other boss. So if you're looking to start your own business, if you're looking to schedule your own jobs, charge your own prices for cleaning, own your own equipment, your own vehicles, consider Mr. Steam.